welcome into the PHNX Daily Bet Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and leave us a 5-star review if you're listening on audio. I'm Shane Diefenbach, joined, as always, by Johnny Venerable on this Friday, and it's a division preview Friday. We're going to go over the Johnny, how are we feeling?
Good. This is the worst division in the AFC. It's not even close, and I think it has a chance in 18 months to be the worst division in the NFL. I think the NFC South, get a couple new quarterbacks in that division. I think it's going to rebound. This is a division that I think can be won 9-8, 10-7.
Yeah, I think the Colts. I think the Colts will win more games than that, but I think that's all it's going to take, really.
Right.
And we'll go over some of the key departures and acquisitions like we do in every preview, but. For now, Johnny, is there any storylines that you're keeping your eye on ahead of the season starting, and specifically with this division?
I would say.
I was going to say,
just
go ahead.
Go ahead. You asked me a question, then you're going to respond for me.
Well, I didn't know if you had an answer, so I was going to go. But go ahead.
No, I definitely do. I would say it is going to be how do the Indianapolis Colts bounce back from what I think is their fourth starting quarterback in 4 years to open up the season. And how does Matt Ryan not look completely washed and do just enough? Because we've seen this before. This is a Phillip Rivers 2.0, but can you get a little bit more on the back end that you did with him because Wentz was so universally hated? That to me, because the Colts are the only team I think that are built everything outside of quarterback to make a nice run in the AFC playoffs. But is the quarterback once again going to blow this window that Indianapolis has where they've got a lot of – it's like San Francisco. They've got a loaded roster, but just glaring holes at quarterback. Everybody else is just like – there are sub-headlines, but none of them mean anything in the landscape of like winning in the NFL.
Yeah, I would say, well, first of all, with the Colts, I mean, talk about a blown window last year, losing to the Jaguars in Week 18. I remember I was on a plane and I bet on the Jaguars and we landed, and the Jaguars were still winning that game. I'm glad they moved on from Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz did not deserve this defense, or this team in general. My biggest storyline, I would say, is the return of Robert Woods and see if he can get healthy, because I think that's the Titans' only chance on not only having a competent offense, but really just competing in this division at all. Their defense is solid, but I think slowly but surely they're realizing Tannehill is not a franchise guy and is not going to be able to take that next step. And you don't want to waste Derrick Henry's probably last 2 or 3 years of continued dominance. So, Robert Woods is the one to keep an eye on, because you remember how good he was for the Rams before he got hurt. I mean, he's a solid wide receiver. And with the loss of A.J. Brown or Corey Davis and now A.J. Brown, you're really going to need somebody to fill those voids.
Yeah, to me, this is a team going sideways fast.
Going south, would you say?
Sideways. I think they're going sideways.
Yeah, but would you say they're going south?
South and sideways, maybe.
Because they're
south.
in the AFC South. Yeah.
God, you ruined the show already for me. And you can't, it's hard to ruin football for me. You've successfully done that here on a Friday. Can we talk about yesterday real quick? Preseason action.
Oh yeah, we can.
We bet on it. I was going to go 2-0 on my picks, but then your Seahawks were even more inept offensively than I thought they would be. Bears straight up won, money line plus 3.5. That was a lock. The over missed by 1.5 points because the Seahawks opted to not take the training wheels off, and they look so completely dejected offensively. So 1 for 2 day, but I blame Shane's Seahawks for the fact they didn't come ready to play at home. Nice home performance by the Seahawks.
Yeah, definitely. At one point, I was watching the game with my dad, and I looked at him like, that has to be pumped-in crowd noise, right? There's no way they're that excited about a 4-yard run by a fourth-string running back. But I think they were. Here are my picks from yesterday. I did pretty well. Bears, obviously. The Padres, Josh Hader's terrible, Johnny. He's
that's
awful.
Why the Brewers got rid of him. He was bad with the Brewers toward the tail end. He's living off an all-star appearance.
Padres fans were booing him last night because he couldn't hit the strike zone. He walked in a run and then gave up another run. Then they lost 3-1. It was just gross. So that didn't hit. They're over in the Toronto game did hit, and for the third time, I want to say this week, another home run hitting prop plus 330. Vlad went deep, I think, in the second inning again. Yeah, we love that. So good day yesterday. 3 for 4 with some juice on a plus 330 prop, but we love that. And we also love the DraftKings Sportsbook app. If you didn't see the video that PHNX Sunday was posted today, there was a 18-year-old freshman that wanted to be in a class where he could sports gamble. Unfortunately, you can't do that because 21 plus, but you can do that if you're old enough, and there's no better time to get in on the action than right now on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Make your same game parlays for the MLB just ahead of the NFL season. If you're getting bored with it like Johnny is, you can do some props and some fun stuff all the time on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and college football is coming up. So right now, when you use that promo code PHNX, you can bet just $5 on college football, get $200 in free bets instantly. That's promo code PHNX only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for more details. They also have UFC stuff available. Drake just put $230,000 on Jose Aldo, so I know I'm fading that. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow, me and Sean on the PHNX Daily Bet Show. So make sure to tune in.
Should we charge tuition for this show? I feel like I should now.
Yeah, I think we should. Just give us a percentage
We'll give you those community college fees. How about that?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into some of the big key acquisitions and departures in the AFC South. We'll start with the Colts, who I think everybody, including me, thinks is the front runner for this division as long as they don't fumble it. You obviously get rid of Carson Wentz and replace him with Matt Ryan and Nick Foles, funny enough. Phillip Lindsay, you re-sign Mo Alley-Cox, you re-sign Matt Pryor on the offensive line. You get Yannick Ngakoue, which I love. And then obviously you get Stephon Gilmore, which is huge. Rodney McLeod's a sneaky good one too. Leaving, you lose Marlon Mack, which who really cares? He's slated to be RB1 on the Texans, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. T.Y. Hilton, Zach Pascal. That's not good, but other than that, I mean, Michael Pittman's your clear number one. Then it's just kind of muddy over there. You lose Rocky Sin, who I really like, and then a couple other people. Jack Doyle retires, but other than that, I mean, is there anything that kind of stands out to you?
I think just the ascension of somebody like Paris Campbell, who's a second-round pick at Ohio State last year, who has big playability. Not that Michael Pittman doesn't. That's just not his game. Paris Campbell, I think at his best, can be a 17-plus yard reception kind of guy and the perfect kind of outside complement to Pittman, who, by the way, I've heard has been unguardable during the Lions joint practices. Take that for what it's worth. I think he's going to have a monster season. That offense should do just enough to keep them at bay and win this division. You talk about Jonathan Taylor. I don't think they go as heavy with him this year. It'll be more balanced. I think his touchdown volume could go up, but his total yards, like Matt Ryan's going to win a throw. He'll spread it out. I'm gonna phase him a little bit, take the under on his passing yards total, but this is going to be a team with more balance that you've seen offensively than, certainly with Carson Wentz and Phillip Rivers. Then on the defensive side of the ball, like the Yannick Ngakoue move, I think is super underrated because he is somebody that, when challenged, especially surrounded by great players defensively, like a Kwity Paye, who I love as a breakout candidate this year out of Michigan last year. DeForest Buckner, that's an egregious trade for the 49ers. Eject that right into my veins. This front seven, I think, has a chance to be, at the end of the year, the best front seven in the NFL. The back seven's a different story. I don't love Stephon Gilmore at this stage of his career. The safeties are pretty meh, but the front seven,
Darius Leonard,
they will suffocate
really
these other teams in the NFC South.
If you remember last year, Johnny, like almost a year ago, we did a NFL award show, preview, and one of the. Excuse me. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, hi, welcome back.
Okay, my mic went out. One of the awards I picked last year was Kwity Paye to win the offensive or defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah,
obviously didn't do that, but still, I'm a big fan of him. I'm really excited to see what he can bring. I think this is a big breakout year, and having Yannick Ngakoue on the opposite side of you is only going to help.
Yeah, to me, he is somebody that flashed at the beginning of the year, was pro ready, got hurt, and now I think another year of conditioning in the weight room, getting his body right for the NFL. He's just like I just said about Yannick Ngakoue. The front seven is too talented for these guys not to play off of each other and flourish. So I like the Colts to win again, about 10 games this year, trending in the right direction. It's not going to be overnight, the chemistry between Ryan and these receivers, because I think, similar to Russell Wilson, you spend your whole career in one place, there's a little bit of a learning curve. We saw it with Peyton Manning once upon a time when he went to Denver. It wasn't seamless overnight. So I think this team's going to be playing their best football at the end of the year. I think they could be a 500 team until about mid-November, and they put their foot on the gas. But they are going to eat against this division that I think has some interesting pieces, especially in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But Tennessee's going the wrong way, and I think Houston is the worst team in the NFL.
Last thing to mention about the Colts is another breakout receiver candidate from your favorite school, Cincinnati's Alec Pierce.
I've come around.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on him. But yeah, we'll see. This division is just so weird. I think, as I said, I think the Colts are the clear front runner. Then who really knows what can happen? Well, now on to your favorite team, your guilty pleasure, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
Couple big additions at receiver. Obviously, Christian Kirk from the Cardinals, but I really like this sneaky signing of Zay Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be good here. They re-signed Laquan Treadwell. They obviously got Evan Ingram. They get Brandon Scherf. Like, they shore up their offensive line a little bit. They franchise tagged and then signed Cam Robinson. And then, yeah, some good pieces on defense as well. Losing Carlos Hyde, Tavon Austin, DJ Chark was a big one. But and then on the defensive side, you lose Miles Jack, which kind of sucks. But nothing really too egregious in the departure side of things. But the guys coming in, I feel like, can make a bigger difference than the guys leaving. So really excited to see with that. And then the biggest storyline, I think, of this team in general, not only Trevor Lawrence being able to figure it out this year, which he wasn't as bad as people thought last year. I mean, a lot of people probably just saw the stats and didn't watch the games. I don't think he was that bad last year. He obviously didn't have a lot of help. But he's going to have a lot of help in the backfield because I think Travis Etienne is going to be a monster. I think he's going to come back firing. I'm really excited to see him play, and I got some props for him. But, Johnny, what do you think of this Jaguars team heading into this year?
I think if things break right, they could win 7 or 8 games. I'm that big of a fan of Doug Peterson. I thought once upon a time if Cliff Kingsbury had flamed out in Arizona, Doug Peterson would have been a great fit. He's got a Super Bowl trophy in his cabinet, and he is the only one to win one in Philadelphia. That doesn't mean nothing. And most importantly, he's a quarterback savant. And Trevor supposedly has had a great camp. I'm pounding the overs for Christian Kirk, not because I think he's underrated. I think he's going to have his first 1,000-yard season. Marvin Jones Jr. is still on the roster. You mentioned Evan Ingram. This offense is just entirely different with Peterson in the fold.
Yep.
It sounds like James Robinson's going to be ready for the season. He was out all last year. The defense is what it is. I think the defense is going to have glaring holes, but I think they're going to flash because of the fact they're going to go up against some immobile quarterbacks, some quarterbacks that are due for a regression like Ryan Tannehill, certainly whatever the hell's going on in Houston. They will look better than they are, than the sum of their parts at times, just because of how bad this division is. It's funny, though. We talked about it on Cardinals. We're going to talk about it today. I think Shaquille Griffin could get traded in the next 7 to 10 days. His cap hit is huge. He's part of the old regime, and the Cardinals are sniffing around corners. Don't be surprised if something like that happens. But Trayvon Walker, to me, I think will have a double-digit sack year as a rookie. We'll talk about it when I get to my props, but 6.5 sacks. And today, there's 17 flipping NFL games, and this division's terrible. He will sleepwalk his way to that over.
Yeah, I like that. Not much really else to say about this Jaguars team. I think it's just a learning curve thing. Obviously, the number 1 overall pick should have a lot to add. And hopefully James Robinson gets back healthy because I really liked how he was running. But
went to my alma mater, Illinois State, baby.
Those Achilles tears can be pretty brutal. All right, going to the Titans now. The AFC regular season winner Titans, 12-5 last year somehow. You get Robert Woods, as I said earlier. You get Austin Hooper, which is kind of fun. And then that's about it. You get Jamarco Jones. You re-sign your center. You don't really do much else. You obviously trade A.J. Brown. You lose Julio, which who cares? You lose Ferkser, who I thought was pretty good for them last year. You lose a couple of pieces on the offensive line. You lose Jack Rabbit Jenkins, who I really liked. Your defense is not as good as it was last year. I think it's still solid, but I don't think it's as good. The only fun thing that can happen with this Titans team this year is they start 0-4, and Malik Willis comes in and plays really good football.
You got it.
I think that's
you got it. That's where I was going with this team. I think we see Malik Willis at some point, whether it's the tail end of the season when this team falls out of contention, if you want to call it contention. Treylon Burks, who I loved coming out of Arkansas, who I still think will be a very nice player, has had a slow start to his NFL career. That's not ideal. They needed him to grab this job by the throat and run with it because you lose Julio. Obviously, you lose A.J. Brown. Robert Woods is coming off injury. I'm not buying this passing game at all. I think teams are going to jump on this team because their secondary is ass, and then they're going to have to be forced to play catch up, and Derrick Henry can't run downhill in that scenario. I like Jeffrey Simmons. I like Harold Landry. Some of their pieces on defense still of quality. Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech last year showed some promise after being injured partially as a rookie, but I think this is a 7-win team. I think the Jaguars and the Titans could have the same record, but maybe the Jags win the tiebreaker. This is a team like if in this division, like we've seen the peaks with Ryan Tannehill. He's gotten you as far as you can go with him, a la Alex Smith once upon a time with Kansas City. You would be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't let Malik Willis get at least 6 to 8 starts this year. Yeah. That way you can go into the next offseason knowing that, we need to make a move for another quarterback, or like Philadelphia did, which they wisely did during Carson Wentz last year with them. They found out Jalen Hurts could play. They moved Carson Wentz, and they've made the playoffs last year, and this year they're going to win the NFC East. I think we could see the same type of scenario going with Tennessee. Let Malik and Treylon Burks develop a rapport, and then you have something to look forward to in 2023. Not more of the same.
Yeah, I think this team, the only really good thing that they're doing is they're rebuilding on the fly, which I really like. You're letting some key pieces walk, but you're also replacing them. You mentioned Caleb Farley, but I also really like their second-round pick, Roger McCreary, out of Auburn. Obviously, he's got really tiny arms. That's like the biggest knock on him. He's got little T-Rex arms, but I really liked what I saw from him at Auburn. Then he was also at the Senior Bowl and did some pretty fun stuff. So I like him. I don't really like this team this year, but I think they're doing an okay job of rebuilding for the future. And if Malik Willis can continue to look as good as he did in his first preseason appearance, then I think they'll be just fine. All right, moving on to, did we do all of them?
No, got the
final team, the Texans, the sweetheart,
the bottom of the barrel,
the sweetheart of the division. Davis Mills's Texans. Okay.
Not a small neck.
Yeah, no, very large. You get Marlon Mack, who's your RB1 right now on the depth chart. But as I said, I think Damian Pierce from Florida takes that job halfway through the season, if not earlier. You re-sign Chris Conley, you extend Brandon Cooks. Yawn. That the wide receiving core on this team is the most boring thing I've ever seen. Other than that, I mean, you don't really do much else. You re-sign some guys, you get a couple offensive line pieces, and then in terms of departures, obviously Deshaun Watson, who cares, was moved on. He hasn't played in a while. You lose Tyrod Taylor to the Giants. They don't really do much except lose Justin Reed, which I think was a big thing. So, Johnny, what do you make of this team?
So I've got some insight. So I've got people in the know from the University of Illinois who said Lovie Smith was one of the worst coaching hires they've made in the university's history. He kept trying to get his son on the coaching staff. They wouldn't allow it. Guess who's on the Houston Texans coaching staff? Lovie Smith's son, I think, coaches their linebackers. And that's not a knock. I just think he was great for those early 2000s Bears teams.
Yeah.
I think today's NFL kind of has passed him by a little bit. Here's all you need to know about Houston Texans and what they've got going on with their roster this year. Derek Stingley Jr., who they took in the top 10 this year, is the third highest paid player on the team via overthecap.com. He's making $6 million. That's his cap hit. That's the third highest paid player. I think Brandon Cooks is on his way out. I think he's going to get dealt. Laramie Tunsil is just kind of hanging out at $17 million per season. To me, them and the Jets will fight for the top overall pick because the AFC is so strong and they've got so much meat on the bone that there are going to be some teams sacrificed as a result when you've got to play everybody else. And I think that's the Jets and the Houston Texans. To me, this is a expansion level roster that really should have rolled with what they had going last year with David Culley, who kept them competitive. I think they're going to be significantly worse than last year, which is unfortunate because Culley, to me, they're going to have the season everybody thought they were going to have last year. Culley was very respectable, well-liked in the locker room. And, this organization, Jack Easterbay or B or whatever his name is, he's a hot mess disaster. He is somebody I would want to get away from the organization. This Deshaun Watson cloud still hangs over them. I think Houston is in for a long, long rebuild, and they're 3 years away plus.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's only a couple things to really look ahead to. Obviously, I mentioned Damian Pierce, who I really like. Yeah.
We saw Damian Pierce at the combine. He is one of the most likable players and I wish he would have gone to literally any other organization.
Yeah. Derek Stingley Jr. Fun.
Yeah.
Petrie, kind of fun.
They're great players that we all love are all rookies, right? I don't
Yeah.
like any of their pre-existing players other than Davis Mills. Here's what I will say about Davis Mills. He got hurt at Stanford. He went in the third round. Had he stayed healthy, he's a second or first round quarterback. But I think he will be absorbed by the fact that their offensive line, their skill players are so terrible. You can make an argument Davis Mills right now is better than Trey Lance. I believe that wholeheartedly.
You just hate Trey Lance. I like Davis Mills, but you just hate Trey Lance. And
I think
hate him, Johnny.
No, it's not that I hate him. It's that I think people are unreasonable, and
there's unreasonable hype, but you hate him because of it. It's
Davis,
like me.
Davis
It's like
Mills
me with Jason Tatum, Johnny. People talk about him too much. They just talk about him way too much.
Trey Lance, and it's no fault of Trey Lance's own. His fan base is out of control. They need to be stopped.
It's exactly with Jason Tatum. Trey Lance is the Jason.
I think
Tatum
I get
of
it
the
now.
NFL.
I think I get it now, Shane.
There we go. All right, Johnny. Let's get into our picks. What is your forecast for this division? What are you looking at? What are you teasing on the?
I'm looking for a big spread. I'm looking to make money, and I think the Colts winning this division is a lock. And then, like I mentioned, like the Jaguars could be feisty enough at the end of the year to tie or be outright beat Tennessee plus 700. Again, if you're not buying the Titans, then this is a bet you have to buy. And then in de facto, Titans finish third plus 360. That's really the only question mark. There's no way in hell I see Houston finishing anything but fourth. And then this is an easy one. Trevor Lawrence is going to have a big year passing the football. They're going to be behind in a lot of games. So you figure he'll eclipse 4,000 yards passing at minus 110 and keeping this party moving, Shano. I also like, as I mentioned earlier, Trayvon Walker to finish with over 6.5 sacks. One of my favorite bets. I don't hear you. I don't hear you at all. Shane's got mic problems. You want me to pull up my own graphic here?
There we go. Okay. Hello?
There Welcome back.
Pump the brakes. The graphic's coming. Okay. It's there. All right. Well, let's get into my favorite, what I think is going to happen. You might not like this. Colts to win the division. Titans. Oh, never mind. I thought never mind. I thought I did something else. You will like this. Titans under 9 wins.
Like that's literally hand in hand with everything I just said.
And then Colts over 10 wins. I think they get to 11 or 12. I really think this Colts team is going to have a pretty easy walk to at least 10. In that case, you push. So don't hate it at all. Taking that to the bank. Also, do you like the title of our bets? Pay up. Is that fun?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Because Quiddy Pay. Get it?
Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate it.
Get it?
I was looking for Quiddy Pay props, but there was none. I couldn't find any. I was going to take us over on sacks, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah. There's only
15. Yeah.
Yeah, guys. The top 15 guys that are always in contention.
Yeah.
The Bosa's, the Chandler Joneses.
All right. Let's get into some of your player props, Johnny. Who are some guys you want to keep an eye on in this division?
So fair warning, Texas fans watching, I don't have any props on your sorry-ass team, but I do double up on Matt Ryan. I think passing yards are going to be down, but efficiency and touchdowns are going to be up. Yeah. A lot of boots, a lot of play actions, a lot of red zone cash-ins. I also think Jonathan Taylor is going to have a big year from his rushing totals. He eclipsed that last year. This team, it's balanced all the way. It's going to be one of the more complete offenses, again, that I think is going to hit its stride November, December. And yeah, I like Matt Ryan just to be steady, like a plus version of what Philip Rivers was.
Thanks, Josh. I needed that. Yeah, no, I think he's definitely not the Philip Rivers 2.0. I hear people saying that, and I understand. It's a very easy comparison to make, an old quarterback coming for probably just a year or two to help the Colts make the playoffs. But yeah, I firmly still believe Matt Ryan has a lot left in the tank, and he's not as sporadic as Philip Rivers was. So we'll see. I'm a fan of the move. Anything to get Carson Wentz out of your city, I am a fan of. All right, we'll get into some of my props that I like. Sorry, Johnny, but I do have some Texans props. I'm hammering this. Davis Mills over 4,000 yards and 21 touchdowns plus 550. I'm not hammering. I'll probably sprinkle.
That's actually not. That's not terrible.
No, it's not. It's not a great receiving core, but I mean, he had some games where he lit it up last year.
If he starts 17 games, he's passing for 4,000 yards.
Yeah, and I think he gets the 21 touchdowns. And I mentioned my love for Damian Pierce.
Now that's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, I know. It's sprinkles. The counterpart to my my love, Emery Jones, the quarterback of Arizona State, former Florida quarterback. I think he has a shot to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm not saying it. Obviously, in these division previews, I've had a couple Offensive Rookie of the Years. You can't have multiple. So just sprinkle all over the board. I think he's worth it. I'm a big fan of him. And, I mean, they're going to need to rely on him heavy. And then Travis Etienne. I mean, this guy I'm so high on. Obviously, him and Trevor Lawrence have a bromance from college. I think he's going to light it up this year. James Robinson, late season ACL or Achilles injury. He's gonna be the starting back. So 1025 rushing and receiving yards combined, minus 105 on the DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm a big fan of that.
I'm gonna make a sad prediction. I'm dead serious. Remember when Urban tried to make Travis Etienne a receiver and then he blew out his knee?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Urban Meyer's ruined Travis Etienne. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Because of his knee or because of his mentality?
I think because of his knee. I think he's just going to be hurt. Typically, running backs who blow out their knee their first year don't go on to have 1,000 yards from scrimmage the next year. But that you do, you man.
Well,
I think
I have three. I think words
Urban's
for you.
ruined him.
I have 3 words for you. He is him. Travis Etienne is him.
Well, yeah, I loved him. He wanted to be. He tried to get the Cardinals to take him. Probably should have taken him over Zaven Collins. Hey-o. Remember, he went up to Steve Kye and put his arm around. I want to go play with Kyler Murray. I like Travis Etienne, the person and the player. I think there is going to be a sacrificial lamb from the Urban scenario, and I think it's old Travis. Yeah.
Well, what's he doing now again?
Herbs.
Oh, that's
broadcaster.
Right. He's
just
working
being
at
elite.
Urban Outfitters.
Okay. What if we could get him on the show? I could try to arrange that. Here, hang on, let me show you something.
Oh God.
This is a gift from him. He sent this to me when I was a captain senior year, and we went 12-2.
Are you serious?
Yeah, bro. I told you he lived in my parents' basement. Johnny, congrats, 12-2 season being a captain. Urban Meyer. I wish that was Aaron Hernandez.
You never told me this.
Oh yeah, he lived in my parents' basement.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He was dropping bombshells on me, Johnny.
Herbs, love you, Herbs.
Oh my God!
You want some more good stuff? Hang on.
Dude, that is so rich. I love that. Johnny just pulled an autograph poster of Urban Meyer.
We talked about Daniel Jones. Here's my guy, David. What's this guy from? What's this dude's name? From Duke? I don't remember him. He coaches Duke. What's this guy? This is David Cutcliffe. Who did I say to coach the Texans? I don't know.
Okay.
It's a good show.
Okay. All right, Johnny. What else do you like? You mentioned Trayvon Walker.
Yeah. Trayvon. Are these my bets? Christian Kirk. Yeah. Christian Kirk as the default number one receiving option, minus 115. That's easy. If Christian Kirk doesn't hit 825 receiving yards, it's a fucking disastrous contract. Pardon my language, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. $20 million a year. You can't eclipse 825. Literally rat bastard. Ryan Tannehill, his interceptions are going to be over because the team is going to be so bad they're playing from behind. And we saw what happened in that playoff loss to Cincinnati last year. Couldn't give them the ball enough. And then Trayvon Walker, again, I don't know what 6.25 sacks are. It should be 6.5 sacks minus 125. I'm going to tell you right now, parlay all this shit together. Every one of these bets will hit. You have my word. If it doesn't, if everybody watching the show, if this doesn't hit, I will buy everybody a t-shirt from the PHNX merchandise locker. All of these bets are hitting.
Oh my God. Okay. I love the confidence. Yeah, the only thing that could ruin that is Tannehill getting pulled early in the season.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't hate it. I do not hate it. All right, these are the last 3 bets for our division preview show. The AFC South will be doing this for the rest of the division. I think we have 3 more: the NFC South, the AFC North, and the NFC North. Yeah, I think those are the last 3. So we'll get to those before football season kicks off. But here are the last 3 props from me. As I said, huge fan of Robert Woods. Not really a timetable yet on when he's going to be available, but I think if he comes back like 4 games in, he'll reach this. I think he's going to be their only option. He's going to be the only guy that can do something with the football. Get him in space, easy money. Speaking of easy money, this is the easiest bet on the DraftKings Sports. We got Michael Pittman Jr. over 6.5 receiving touchdowns. Are you effing kidding me?
Hammer it.
Minus 120. Hammer that. Love that. Big fan of it. And then on the other side of the ball, Unique Ngakoue over 7.75 sacks. I think he gets there easily. Kwity Paye opposite side. He's going to be he's going to be dominant this year. This whole defensive line, this whole front seven is going to be really good. Big fan of Darius Leonard and what that defense can do. So Yannick Ngakoue over 7.75 sacks minus 115. Hammer it on the DraftKings Sports. We got Johnny. Anything else before we get out of here? You just want to dance a little bit?
PHNX Cardinals live today. Myself, Bo Brock, Frank Sanders, 4 p.m. Putting a bow on Cards camp. Cards about to trade for a starting cornerback. God, I hope so. Catch all that and more today, right before the Arizona Cardinals host the Baltimore Ravens and squash. Listen to this. The Ravens have won 21 straight preseason games. That means my DraftKings pick of the week
is
Cards money line, suckers.
Are you actually going to take the Cardinals money line?
Oh, hell yeah. Trace McSorley to Trey McBride. Get shitted on.
Oh, God. I got a fun little MLB parlay for you guys. Trey Turner over 1 hit and the Dodgers to win by 2.
Football
so
season,
Dodgers minus 1.5. Trey Turner over 1 hit, 1+ hit. I think that's plus 125 on DraftKings Sportsbook. That is my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week. Grab some 4 peaks, hang out this weekend, have a good time. If you're in the Valley, if you're in Scottsdale tomorrow, Maya Day Club, noon, we will be doing a live show. Me, Derek, Sean, and Leah live from Maya Day Club. It's going to be a good time.
What are you even doing? What are you doing? What are you hanging out there for?
We're just drinking and talking. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So if you're down there, head out, say hi. It's going to be a little warm, but we're going to be indoors. So make sure to do that. OGs will be there. Grab some 4 peaks, as I said. If you're not, hang out this weekend. We'll be live tomorrow, probably around noon, to talk about the UFC. So before then, grab some 4 peaks. But just a reminder, got to be 21 or over to drink and enjoy that responsibly. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane D. You can follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Venerable. Follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_bets. Peace, love, and Quiddy Payday.